Hello and welcome. India has a huge burden of diabetes, hypertension, and lifestyle diseases. Heart failure hence assumes importance to a clinician in his practice. Heart failure management is associated with its own need gaps and challenges. To deconstruct some of these challenges, we have with us our renowned guest for the day, Dr. Bhupesh Shah, an interventional cardiologist from Ahmedabad. Welcome to you, sir. Let me begin by asking you, how does hospitalization for an acute decompensated heart failure alter the journey of a heart failure patient, be it in the short term or in the long term?
Okay, nice question, Dr. Parsarthi, because when the patients they're admitted with acute decompensated heart failure, so we know that heart failure is basically, there is no patient we can say is a stable heart failure. There are always some bumps in the journey is there. So when the patient is admitted with acute decompensated heart failure, so chances of readmission in the first 30 days, which is very high, number one. Number two, the mortality rate and morbidity rate in the first year, it is very high. We see that 25 to 30% of the patient, they come back again with heart failure once we have discharged the patient. So short term and the long term, the prognosis is not good for this patient. And that's why we need to give them the guideline-directed therapy very aggressively. That is acute decompensated heart failure. We have to take care of those patients very vigorously.
So, Dr. Shah, what are the challenges faced by you in treating these patients that are referred to you? We do understand that an acute decompensated heart failure patient comes to the hospital, he's in the ICU, he's on inotropic supports, he is on loop diuretics to clear off his pulmonary edema. But once he's compensated, he's in the ward, and from then on, his journey from then on, what are the challenges faced in escalating guideline-directed medical therapy?
See, when the patient is admitted with acute decompensated heart failure, usually these patients at that particular moment, they're very fragile. So when we are shifting the patient from the inotropes, to the ward, so these patients are very fragile. So we have to monitor their postural fall in the blood pressure. That is one thing. Because of diuretics, they are being given to the patient. So we are not able to build up the dose very fast, particularly of ARNI or ACE inhibitor or ARB, whatever the patient is taking. Beta blockers, again, we have to look at the blood pressure, because blood pressure and the pulse, they are very important parameters in this kind of the patients, and they are very fragile. So particularly, we have seen that our Indian subset of the patient, we have to start this guideline-directed medical therapy, but we need to keep watch on the blood pressure, particularly postural hypotension, and at the same time, the potassium. But if we are very vigilant, we can give all these 4 pillars or 5 pillars, whatever, which are, at present we are seeing for the heart failure, we can start under observation. See, once the patients, they are discharged, and then we want them to start the medication. Why we cannot start those medication under our observation when the patients are in hospital? But only thing is the blood pressure sometimes doesn't allow us to build up the dose to which, whatever the desirable dose is there.
Point well raised by you, Dr. Shah. But does clinical inertia at the treating physician end too play a role wherein the patients do not get benefit of GDMT?
Yes, because if you look at this various data which are saying that nearly 60 to 70% of the patient, they are not on the guideline-directed medical therapy, whatever the doses which are being advised. We know that, but I think because of this various CME, various web meetings, I think all physicians, we have to push ourselves, because what I would say, when the patient, for example, is coming to the follow-up after admission, once a patient is discharged, actually patient is giving us the opportunity to build up the dose. So we should not miss those opportunities, okay? So I think 70% of the patients, they are still not on the proper guideline-directed medical therapy. So that inertia we have to break, and we have to treat the heart failure very aggressively with all proper medications which are said in the guideline that medical therapy. Patients should be there in the initial 3 to 4 weeks. All important molecules, it should be there on the prescription.
Dr. Shah, based on the data of the DAPA-HF trial, the 2021 ESC guidelines gave a class 1A recommendation for SGLT2 inhibitors and placed them as the fourth pillar among drugs for mortality benefit. How does this change your practice as a cardiologist?
Yes, I think that is very important trial because dapagliflozin in the heart failure, it has shown the reduction in the hospitalization as well as the mortality. And now data they are also coming for the even in patients that are admitted with acute decompensated heart failure. So SGLT2 inhibitors, which is very important molecule. We usually nowadays after this trial, all the patients of heart failure patients usually put them on the dapagliflozin. One thing is that dapagliflozin requires only one single dose. We don't require to step up the dose. That is the one advantage. And if the patients that are coming from the periphery, so ARNI, ACE inhibitor, ARB, we have to monitor little bit blood pressure. We have to monitor about the postural hypertension. The advantage of dapagliflozin is that directly we are giving the guideline directed, dose to the patient. So they don't need to step up. That is the important advantage. And sometimes when the patients, they're very fragile, acute decompensated heart failure, eGFR is also fluctuating. So sometimes if we start ARNI, ACE inhibitor, ARB, the eGFR may fluctuate. So dapagliflozin also help us to stabilize eGFR, and then we can build up the dosages of other molecules. So that is a very important molecule, I would say, for the patient having heart failure.
For a HFrEF patient, when in the clinical course, when in the clinical journey of the patient, right from having an ADHF, getting admitted to the hospital, from there coming to the ward, getting discharged or follow-up, when in this clinical journey of a patient would you like to rightfully start your patient on SGLT2 inhibitors?
See, now, I said, once the patient is admitted with acute decompensated heart failure, in initial 3 to 4 weeks, all molecules, important molecules, ARNI inhibitor, SGLT2 inhibitors, now is class 1, beta blockers, MRS, so they should be there in the 3 to 4 weeks time. But now new data, they are also coming from this recent conference. So I think acute decompensated heart failure as early as possible, we should put the patient on the SGLT2 inhibitors, right from the admission of the patient. Patient should be on the SGLT2 inhibitors. And if we are, by any chance, we are not able to put them on SGLT2 inhibitors when the patient comes in the follow-up after 1 week. So we have to see that all these important molecules which are there in the prescription. So as early as possible, I would like to put the patient on SGLT2 inhibitors because it has shown the mortality benefit. So those important molecules, we have found the mortality benefit. The patient should be on those all important 4 molecules when the patient they are discharged. But within 3 to 4 weeks, all molecules should be there on board.
As a cardiologist, what are your key clinical pearls that you would like to share with our audience who are attending the session? Your final take on the same, sir.
Yes, very nice question, Dr. Parsati. I would like to say here that all we doctors, all we cardiologists, we have to see that when the patient is admitted with the heart failure or a patient comes with the heart failure, first important thing is we need to prevent the repeated hospitalization. So whenever we are treating the patient, we have to see the important 4 molecules which are there or not in the prescription. When the patient is coming in the follow-up, patient is giving us the opportunity to see that we have given the guideline directed medical therapy, we have the step up the dosage. So please make the list of these 4 important drugs, beta blockers, ACE inhibitor, ARB. Third is the ARNI, most important SGLT2 inhibitors, and the MRS. So you have to take which molecule which is not there in the prescription and why it is not there in the prescription. So please be sure that all these important molecules which have shown the reduction in the mortality, which should be there in the prescription, and by any chance, if you are not able to add this molecule at the time of the admission, please see that within 2 to 3 weeks, all these molecules which are there on the prescription, and that try to build up the dosages of this important drug to a tolerable level. That is from my side, and I would like to say to my audience. Thank you.
On that note, I would like to thank Dr. Bhupesh Shah for the very enlightening session on heart failure. Till next time, stay safe, take care, goodbye.
Insights from the world's best medical minds. You are watching therightdoctors.com.